different risk base that people are using in different countries, right? Now, it's a good idea to compare. In your research, right, the idea is that you must talk about the past or previous research, right? So, for example, if you are doing this topic, you might have to find, are there any people who are doing the same thing? And what did they find, right? So, since you are being expert in the topic, you have to gather all the information about what you are doing, right? So, that is also very important. In my research, I gathered information about what happened in other countries. Okay? Now, my research is based on the concept of public policy. Right? I'm not sure if you understand the concept of public policy.
นโยบายสาธารณะ
นโยบายสาธารณะ How public policy is about what is the government do or government don't do, or the action of the government. It's involved in the goals or objective, right? It's benefit to society as a whole. So again, you can have the thesis or the theory that back up your research. Okay. Now, having talked about the public policy, my research also involved in organizational theory, right? How, because I'm talking about the word implementation, right? The word implementation suggests action, right? Doing it, right? The action of bringing the policy into action. So it involves the party or the people who are doing this action. So again, the organizational theory is also very important. Okay. Now, I'll talk about the policy implementation, right? How this action occur or this action are happening. Okay. Now, I might skip through this, right? I probably won't give you all the. I want to give some time for a little bit of discussion. Okay. Then I'll talk about how effective, right? I think, again, I want to spend some time on this, right? Some people will want to find something to do with effective, right? Now, when you think about something effective, right, one of the most important things is how do you measure effective? How do you measure effective? I think you have that answer in your mind. You know, sometimes when you say something is effective, is less the cost, less the money, time. Right? So my effectiveness is I use the concept of goal attainment. Right? Whether or not you can achieve your goal. Right? If you are effective, you can achieve your goal. Okay? So I did not use the time and money because sometimes some policy cannot be converted into time and cost. Right? So I use the concept of goal attainment. So I think in your, please beware in your research, right? If you want to measure effective, you have to have the measurement to everything. Okay? Effectiveness, right? I've talked about this already. Now, since when you do your thesis, right, you have to have variables. Okay? So a number of variables that we involve are those one. Okay? And then I went on to do on each of the variables. And then you have to start talking about this will relate to this. Right? How does this come in? How does this relate to that? Okay? So I have regulatory objective, okay, which involve in the clarity, consistency, and accuracy. Okay? In resources, right, you have money, you have people, you have time, you have computer capacity. Capacity, I'm talking about the leader, competence, the leader's commitment, and officer skill and competence. Okay? Communication, right, how the communication are involved. The attitudes, right, people are doing it, will they like it, will they willing to do it? And knowledge and understanding, ability to comply, and also willingness. Okay? Now, this is my conceptual framework, right, which I'll talk about earlier, about how you set your framework to your research. I have 8 separate variables, right, and each of these variables are divided into 2 tiers. Right? First tier, second tier, okay, and all affect the the Y, right? The dependent variable, right? Independent variable, dependent variable. Okay. So again, it's a good idea to have your framework in mind. Right? Have your topic, have your framework in mind, and everything else will start to follow. Okay. Hypothesis. Right? I have a hypothesis about. I think I have 5 hypotheses. Okay. So and then you have to think about your hypothesis. Okay. Now. Nowadays, right, when you talk about the research methodology, now in the past, people are using either quantitative analysis or qualitative analysis, right? Now, but nowadays, research has been shifting by the mixed methodology, right? So instead of using one extreme or the other one extreme, you are combining the benefit of the two together, okay? So in my one, I use both. As you would expect. Okay? Then you talk about what is qualitative framework, quantitative research. Okay? Data analysis. Right? You talk about what are your data, right? How many respondents did you receive, right? How many questionnaires and handouts. Okay? What is the data collection method, and what are the data processing that you use. Right? In this, I use SPSS. Which is very common. Okay. Then you go on to talk about your data, right? Again, I don't want to go through all the details, right? This is now once you finish all your data, right? Then the final part that most of the different professors will be interested in this is the result, right? Now. When you use the hypothesis, right, when you have a hypothesis, you then, after that, you have to go through each of your hypotheses, whether or not this is true or this is not true. Right? Again, you then back up with your quantitative analysis data. In this case, I use the correlation, right? Pearson correlation. Okay? And also, I also use the multiple regression. So I'm not sure how familiar with your research methodology with you guys. Right? So this is the thing that you have to discuss in your paper if you want to go in the details of the qualitative analysis. Right? In this, I use the multiple regression. I use multiple regression in order to find, in order to test my hypothesis. Okay? And then I went on to talk about each of the hypotheses. Right? Again, back up with your data, back up with your information. Now, most of the professors, they will not ask this in detail. Right? So it is very good that you have to clear yourself or clarify yourself by using the slide. Right? So the slide will be your best friend. Right? Sometimes when they ask something, it's not very good to go through all your papers. Right? So have everything in your mind, have everything clear in the slide, so they will not ask anything that that you cannot answer. Okay. Again, I went on to do all my hypotheses, on and on and on. Right. My conclusion. Right. Again, it's ideal of summarize things into just one slide. Right. So people can see it. Right. So given all my findings, I found that this and this and this and this. That's it. Right, so you don't go, over slide and slide and slide of your conclusion. Right? Just have one, and then you can discuss each one. Now, in my case, I found that most of this are the predictor of that, except just one of my variables, which is not related to any of them at all. Right? And then you have to find how to explain it. Because most people will be interested in something like this. Right? So once you find this and this and this, they're okay. Right? Many people found that, but what happened with this? Right? So then you must have your data to back up something that stands out. Right? Something that's different from other people than you might be asked in the question, in the presentation. Okay? Contribution. Right? After you find out all this, what will be the contribution, or how will they use this in order to be academic excellent, right? Basically, with all your explanation, what will happen? Right? How will they use it? How will this research or the finding can be used? Right? Again, this is very important. All right? Recommendation. Right? After you have all your findings, after you have all your contribution, what is your recommendation? Right? People will be interested to know about this. Right? So given I have looked at all my variables, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I think the Security and Exchange Commission should firstly enhance the communication. Right? After we find that communication is one of the biggest issues, so if you enhance, right, you can improve your effectiveness. Again, try to link back to your objective. Okay? Regulatory capacity, right? The training, so on and so forth. Right? Contribution to policy implementation. Okay? Contribution to theory. Sorry. Dynamic change. Right? Cooperation with supervisory agency. Okay? Again, I won't go into detail. Right? So, and the last one, right? Very important to suggest your future research. Right? So if you were given a chance to do something else more, what will you do? Right? So after your finding, I found that I have to do this and this and this more. Okay? And give some suggestions to other people as well. Okay? And once you finish this, right, again, top up with the questionnaire. Top up with the question. Thank you for your attention. And do you have any questions? Right? Do you have any question about this? Do you have any question about that? Now, it's a good idea when you have to do this kind of presentation that you have to make your audience scared of you. Right? Your audience will be the one, will be the professor who's sitting and asking questions. Right? Now, when you have to do this kind of presentation, you have to show that you know everything about your topic. If you ask something, I can ask you back. Right? So, try to be, how do you call it? Try to be a well-known person in your topic. Right? So that way, it will help you to go through your presentation a lot easier. Okay? So, now I think we have about 45 minutes. Right? I intend to use all my time. Is that okay? Is that good?
One question.
One question? I'll do